And here we are coming to you live from our top secret broadcasting bunker here at Area 52, just outside of Mill Creek, Missouri. That is where my deer stand is going to be. And I'm not giving you the geographic location of my top secret deer blind. I'm not telling you. I will tell you that it's somewhere outside of Mill Creek, Missouri in Mark Twain National Forest. If you want to find it from there, be my guest. Deer season, just around the corner. Rifle season. There's been some that's been bow hunting already. There has been some. They have a youth hunt in the state of Missouri, which in some cases, not all, some cases, a young person, I think under the age of 14 or something like that, they actually get to kill a deer. But we always see in the papers around here some guy with his 8-year-old daughter standing there in front of this great big old 14-point buck, and we're going, she didn't shoot that. There is no way she shot that. Anyway, I am headed to the woods tomorrow morning. Me and Matthew and Antonio and Jim Cedric and who else from our church is going? I don't know how many people are going. Not all to the same place, by the way. But we are headed to the woods, and we are going to exercise, number one, our right as American citizens. Number two, our right as Bible believers. God gave us dominion over the fish of the sea, and so I think you ought to eat fish. Over the fowl of the air, I think you ought to eat chicken. And over the beast of the field, I think, I am, don't get me wrong, I am an animal lover. I love them with gravy, ketchup, whatever I can pour on them. Right next to, I can't eat potatoes anymore. I used to love to eat big old mashed potatoes and things. I can't eat that stuff anymore. So anyway, but it's good to be with you today. I am feeling a lot better, even though in my bones are aching. And I am one of the fortunate ones who has not lost my health insurance. Have you been reading what's going on? Obama is in a tailspin right now with this whole health care deal. It's turning out, and it is turning out worse than what everybody was trying to warn everybody else it would turn into. You've got the worst managed entity in the entire world, which is the American government, going to take over one of the most sophisticated, top-notch industries in the entire world, and that is the American healthcare system. And for all of its good or bad, for the most part, it worked. And now it doesn't. See, the government stepped in and they fixed it, all right. It makes me angry, is what it does. And I think if poor people needed health insurance, I think there's a better way to do it. I think that there is a better way to do it than this. And we are in a socialistic tailspin headed toward communism. You just mark my words, it's coming. And some would say, well, what's so wrong with communism? You know what? Let me read something. I've got this on the bottom of the list, but I'm going to go ahead and read it now. Communism is anti-God. It is anti-Bible. It is anti-Christ. That's what it is. And just because you've been liberalized over the years to believe that, well, Christ would want us to give everything to the poor people. That is not what the Bible teaches. It's not what Christ said. It was Jesus himself who taught the parable of the 5 wise virgins who had taken care of business and had got enough oil for themselves. And when those 5 foolish ones, the Bible didn't say they were handicapped, didn't say they had mental disabilities, didn't say they were senior citizens. The Bible does teach us to take care of the elderly. It didn't say that. It says they were foolish. And there's a lot of foolish Americans out there who can work but won't work. And that's because the government has enabled them to not work. But Jesus taught the parable. And he basically said the 5 foolish virgins come up and said, we don't have any oil. Can we have some of your oil? And the 5 wise ones said, no, can't have our oil. If you take our oil, there will not be enough for us. Don't you understand that? It won't work. And then we'll be out. And we need this oil because our bridegroom is coming. Go buy for yourself. Go to work and go buy for yourself. And so that's what and Jesus taught that parable. And I'm telling you, socialism is the first cousin to communism, and we are headed in that way. And I am against communism. I am against socialism. I am against all of that stuff. I think that when you have a socialistic government or a communistic government, you lose your freedoms. And when you lose your freedoms, this program goes, everything goes, and your Bible will go. Mark my words. Ask yourself the question, has there ever been, in the last 2 centuries, a Christian communist government? And the answer is no. Russia, the first thing they did in the communist Bolshevik takeover of Russia was clamp down on Bible Christianity. Do you know why? Because Bible Christianity is against the collectivist thoughts of Lenin and Karl Marx and all these other people. It actually teaches land ownership. We can't have that in a communistic society. It teaches land ownership. It teaches personal responsibility. It teaches morality. It teaches people that they have God-given rights. We can't have that in a communistic society. So they clamped down. The Russian Orthodox churches made a backdoor deal with the communist government saying, we'll keep our mouth shut and support you, but just leave us going because there's a lot of money coming through here. And that's exactly what happened. China, same thing. Cuba, that's what JFK called Cuba. Cuba, same thing. North Korea. I saw this. This was on FoxNews.com. North Korea publicly executes 80 people, some for Bibles. As many as 80 people were publicly executed in North Korea. By the way, North Korean Christians do not believe in a pre-tribulational rapture. They don't believe in it. As many as 80 people were publicly executed in North Korea earlier this month, some for offenses as minor as watching South Korean movies or possessing a Bible. Shot in the streets. Let me read it. The South Korean newspaper reported that the so-called criminals were put to death in 7 cities across North Korea. See, that's 7. That just kind of jumps out at me. 7 heads of the beast. On November 3rd, 11/3. Think about it. In the first known large-scale public executions by Kim Jong-un regime. A source who is familiar with internal affairs in the north and who recently visited the country told the paper that about 10 people were killed in each city. 8 people, their heads covered with white bags, were tied to stakes at a local stadium in the city of Wonsan before authorities shot them with a machine gun, according to the source. Wonsan authorities gathered a crowd of 10,000 people, including children, at the Shinpung Stadium and forced them to watch the killings. I heard from the residents that they watched in terror as the corpses were so riddled by machine gun fire that they were hard to identify afterward, the Jungang Ilbo source said. That's the South Korean newspaper. Most of the Wonsan victims were charged with watching or illegally trafficking South Korean videos, involvement in prostitution, or possessing a Bible. A Bible. Now, here's the rule in North Korea. When you are accused of sedition against the state of North Korea, either by possessing a Bible or by whispering to somebody that you think Kim Jong-un's hair looks funny, then you could be taken and executed, or you are put in one of their work camps. But it doesn't stop there. The regime of North Korea has had a long-standing protocol in place that when you break one of the laws, they come get you and your children and your grandchildren. Because the idea is that you have infected them with your capitalistic Christian ideas. So relatives or accomplices of the execution victims implicated in their alleged crimes were sent to prison camps. There's no clear reason for the executions. One government official noted they occurred in cities that are centers of economic development. Wonsan is a port city that Kim is reportedly planning to make a tourist destination. Well, that works for me. I can't wait to buy my ticket to North Korea just to see the sights. I'd like to go to their stadium, see what's happening at their stadium. Simultaneous executions in 7 cities could suggest an extreme measure by the North Korean government to quell public unrest or any capitalistic inclinations that may accompany its development projects. And I'm telling you, Kim Jong-un knows the dangers of what's in the Bible. He gets it. He knows that if people start reading the Bible, then they will develop non-socialist ideas. They will develop the idea that God gives them rights that earthly rulers cannot alienate them from. They will get the idea that it's okay by God to own private property and to grow your own food. And that while the Bible does allow for a secondary gleaning of poor people, to glean from your fields as a way to bring in food or sustenance for themselves, the primary responsibility over a piece of ground is yours, and you have the first rights to it, to the first fruits. Those are dangerous ideas in a communistic country. They hate the Bible. And I listen, if you think that this is just a way to provide health care to everybody, phooey on youey. It is the steps and the road to communism. And I'm dead serious. Nobody, no Christian in North Korea, and there are some, you just imagine the danger that you would be in to become a born-again, Bible-believing Christian in North Korea. I found my trash can, by the way. A Bible-believing Christian in North Korea. But there are those who do it. And I'm just guessing that none of them have ever heard of a rapture that takes place before any bad thing happens. I don't think that when they read their Bible, I don't think that they saw that in there. Especially the relatives and family members who just watched their dad get blown away by bullets. Just a thought. Just a thought. I appreciate everybody praying for me yesterday, and I have days like this every now and then. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just devils that just like to beat up on me. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I really am. I am fine with that.